Okay, we're live. Good evening, everybody. Welcome to TFC Open Mic. This is Season 3, Episode 37. And yes, here we are for another month. It's the VXP weekend, and obviously it's the post-FM update. So, a couple of people in at the moment. Hi, Hefe, how are you, mate?
Oh, pretty good. Yourself?
I am not too bad, to be honest. Brian's in. Hey, mate. He's all good. Yeah. He's trying to sort out a little bit of VXPing. So yeah. Look, Ford's in moderation. I've seen Wayne in there as well. So if anybody else wants to hop in as well, then please feel free to do so. And then you can open up the conversation a little bit wider. So anyway, right, yeah. Where should we go first then? VXP weekend, or do you want to talk about FM updates?
I don't know. But as far as the big show last week, as far as Bat Ray versus Razortail, so far it looks like Bat Ray's winning.
It feels at the moment for VXP that Bat Ray's definitely the winner, isn't it? You know, especially early on in the raid. Yeah, it feels like a raid. Earlier on the VXP, when you could just sit there, let it time out, and all of a sudden the torpedoes, which funnily enough, those disappeared. Just by the aura effect, blowing up the torpedoes, you could sit there and get a stack load of VXP. And I can't imagine why, but for some reason, Kickside turned that off. Bit naughty, really, isn't it? To be honest, I don't know. There's no such thing as a free, free cup of tea these days, is there? Even in this game, everything costs. So even VXP costs. Makes you think you didn't test the targets.
As a Razortail owner, my cup of tea would be exorbitantly expensive at that point, because the torps will just come in and wreck you.
Yeah, that made me smile, actually. They said the brief was that, if you drive around for long enough, then they just blow up anyway. Did anybody manage to actually achieve that? The driving around long enough so they blow up? I didn't, because I tried it from one side to the other side, and I couldn't even escape the darn torpedoes. I don't know how long you got to wait for them to blow up, but...
Why?
Probably as long as it takes for a Reaper to come and surface in the target as well, because that doesn't seem to happen if you're using Bat Rays either.
Yeah, somebody should take a fast Conqueror in there. And well, I guess we can't do that anymore. Take a fast Conqueror. Well, we can't do it now. They're not in the. They took them out of the targets. But yeah, if you had a fast Conqueror back before this, because I never heard that they would just blow up on themselves, run out of fuel or whatever.
They're supposed to run out of fuel. Yeah, that's what I was told. So. Which I thought was quite interesting, but I under no circumstances, the speed they go almost flicks you back to 2 years of when obviously they had the skirmish raid and they put those nice, explosive flipping self-guided torpedo-y things, but were mortars or whatever they were that just shot straight across the screen at like 1,000,000 miles an hour.
Hunter-killer mortars?
Yeah. I mean, yeah, they're random, aren't they? I must admit. But yeah, and so anybody obviously with the razors, which is me included, it's not having the best time, to be honest, because even trying to avoid those goddamn things, it's a pain. And if you have another special, anyway, if you've got no special on you, you can't even go up and deliver any damage. But yeah, so I know a couple of people are using the triggering method, like triggering some of the, the super ships to come down, but without triggering the rest of the stuff. But it isn't easy.
Yeah, I was going in there and basically killing my ships and doing some damage when they were at full health, and then I have the Bat Ray. Then I would put 1% on each hull, which takes a few minutes per ship, and then hug the bottom of the screen, and then come up and aim at the. I think they call them battleships, the little ships.
Yeah. It is the battleship, not the battlecruiser, the battleship, isn't it? Yeah.
Yeah, and you can do enough damage to max out, at least with the Bat Ray, before the hunters hunters come down and kill you, even with 1%. I know with the Bat Ray, and you get a good amount of VXP doing that.
The only thing that doesn't help is anybody that's obviously only got a thud 1 on it.
Yes, true.
Because that's obviously what a lot of people are going, right, I get my ships out really, really quick, and thanks for the free one. So I suppose we could backtrack a little bit. I mean, they've done obviously the build time reductions, and they've done the let's give you a free hull for those that at least won the whole sort of stuff. So what did it work out? 3 days and 2 hours, something like that. And then a free hull as well. So about 15 days ish, which is a full build for one ship, isn't it? Does that encourage people to build a 5th ship for this time? Or does that encourage people just to go, well, I'm only going to have to actually pay for 3 where I thought I was going to have to pay for 4?
Or start their second hull type.
Oh, yeah, that's a good point.
If
they
you
could
can
do
win
once
it,
comes
yeah.
out.
If you can win it.
Yeah,
Personally, I'm thinking. So now the holes are about 12 days, a little over. It's going to be 49-ish days for 4 fully built. So between the 2 weeks of FM tokens you have saved up, the 3 weeks you get now, and the 3 weeks of actual time, usually, well, 4 weeks of time probably, you should have 4 done or very nearly done if you planned it well enough and you know what you're going to do with it. So the 5th one, and I think a lot of other people, they're just going to put maybe a rocket, an engine, and I think I put resist special on mine just because it filled out the 1 day for the ship build token, and just park it in the corner or have it unselected like you do with a flagship that you want to keep in the corner like a Savage.
Yeah, the shift one, yeah.
Yeah, so you can just take your 36% resists and enter the target and hopefully shave off a little bit of damage.
Yeah, that was my sort of thinking as well. But then again, if you get to that stage and we get given skirmish target, tokens and that sort of stuff in the TLC that's out there at the moment, the Fangtooth one, in the final round, is it better maybe just to save those? Problem is you can't save your FM token. You've got 3 lots of FMs coming up. I mean, whenever this next event comes in that's supposed to give you the second hull, they're not going to give it away for free and make it easy, because then there was no point even doing for some people. Then if it's particularly easy to do and you've got mantis and you miss the raid, then obviously you could probably just go, although you can't rank it as easily. But, you could just go and get that and go, right, I'm going to grizz it through this way. It saves you like a whole weekend of messing around. You just got to do a TLC. I'm still not sure whether I'm going to build a second fleet myself yet.
The skirmish, I think I'm going to build a second fleet just because it's the bat ray, and that has concussive damage and god tier resists. So all the old skirmish TLCs and probably the current map targets for uranium, because there isn't a significant difference in terms of mechanics. There's submerged subs, there's mortars, there's ice fields, but there's nothing new, strictly speaking, in this that we can't beat, like taking the mantis into the old the current 85s. You get stunned and you die. There's nothing like that for skirmish. So you should be able to take these in and walk the TLCs and get like super extra double free uranium, basically.
Yeah, I mean, taking the protos into the TLC, the dailies, to go and get obviously the uranium and that stuff is not too bad. However, taking these razors into expeditions and into the SSRBs is not really wise.
Yeah, they're rockets. They do explosive damage, so they're not gonna hurt any current skirmish target the way that we might want them to.
Yeah, that's the issue, because I know somebody's already tried it, and the feedback I got was it wasn't a wise thing to do. So they didn't survive very well, to be honest.
I'm going to be really scared when they make map targets out of these.
It's going to be intriguing, isn't it? Because there's obviously now 2 completely different concepts. At least if a UAV fired, from Skyfire and a missile fired, it did pen damage. Now we've obviously got
I feel like it's not even. I mean, well, that's just the resist on the ships themselves. All they have to do is tune that down accordingly. And I'm not sure how well my 1 rocket, 2 rocket hulls are supposed to do against these new targets, but I'll hold judgment on that. My worry is, I was thinking about it earlier today, the last skirmish raid cycle with the fangs and the hunters was literally the easiest cycle to tune ever. And they screwed it up. The concussive damage was the same across all the ships. Their ships were in a very binary state that never crossed over. The fangs never surfaced, and the hunters never went under. So all you had to do, and we know that they planned for this, because if you ever took one ship into the wrong target, you got the heck wrecked.
Oh, God, yeah.
was we know they tuned submerged damage and on surface damage. We know they could do it because they did it. And all they had to do was tune it properly. And they couldn't even do that. So they screwed that up, and that's way easier than tuning for this. They're both on the surface. They both have powerful, if slightly swapped resistances, which at the resistance we can get them to is a minuscule anyway. So I think they're hoping it's just everything's gonna be okay, but I don't know about that. I'm worried. Real worried.
I'd like to think, hopefully, because they delayed so long and they keep promising that everything will work fine and that sort of stuff. I'd like to say that they've tuned almost the whole set, as in they already know what's happening, not only just next month, but the month after. You know, we've given them an extra month basically, so they must have at least caught up, and they must be working on the following set. You know, I mean, as I said, you know, I don't intend, if I can help it, to build a second fleet. You know, I will rather muddle through this first time. And then when it comes to next time, you know, if I can get away using the single target that's designed to use for razors, you know, and I can just keep smashing that out for limited damage, then I'm not even going to bother, you know, trying to kill both targets with one ship. If it takes 3 times more damage in the other target, I may as well just not bother doing that and just keep going with the same target over and over until I absolutely make it as a mastermind, you know, driving technique.
Oh, wait, because the first raid in the recently ended assault raid cycle, the first raid in that, you know, how well was that tuned? But I mean, again, I'm going to build that raid because and I think that's what ended up having it be the surge in popularity, was it's everything that can do all the current end game skirmish tech. It's prototypes, but better.
And also you can put the bat ray tech and weapons on the prototype with the extra tokens that we have.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Were there prototype tokens in the last raid store? Did I just miss them? Or
They were in a TLC.
TLC had some. It's just gone, in fact, isn't it? Or is it in there now still?
It's probably still live.
No,
I can't
it was
be bothered.
before the raid.
It was just before. Yeah, it's finished now. I didn't do that one because I've got my protos and they work very well. So
the only reason I want to do any of the current skirmish TLCs is for generic skirmish build tokens. I've done those things like to death. I'm sick of doing them anymore. I don't even want to no, but I'll do them for skirmish tokens because I figure there's going to be a lot of stuff in the raid that we are going to need to refit. They've already opened the door for D5 or D6X and D6CT. Those are coming, I think, like 99%. They're coming. We're just not sure when. There's going to be flagships due in October, according to what's all this about a skirmish cycle post in the forum announcement, whatever's.
Well, they did say it should be linear stuff, like, you know, the difference between the 2 scatter guns for the mantis. That's there should be no escalation at all. So there shouldn't be a better armor coming out. There shouldn't be a better special. There should be, if it's linear, it shouldn't give you any benefit. It just gives you do it in a different way. So it shouldn't make its ship any stronger. Good God, it's at 99.7 for some of the stuff as it is.
But we got those upgrades. They said just like the assault cycle. Well, guess what? The assault cycle had the armors. I think they mean more the weapons. Like we're gonna have a rocket that's gonna, I don't know, maybe a little less damage because there's no defensive buff on the Needler rocket, let's say, or maybe a little less splash or whatever. But maybe that will have 5% combat speed, or you know,
that's my thought.
Some
yeah.
different thing.
The easiest answer for them is speed, because we already see razors being quite slow, don't we?
I mean, mine don't have engines on, so I can't really say. But if I can, you know, like the new version of a D100V, heck yeah, let's go.
Well, I don't know. What do you think, Heavy? I mean, the latest speed, I'm getting 64, which does sound quite quick if you think about it compared to the old stuff when we used to have a combat speed of 30 was average, but now, you know, it's sort of 60 to 70 is normal. So if you're going to put some speed up weapons on, like we did with the mantis, I mean, I literally looked at a couple of videos of people that didn't have, obviously, the cheater scatter guns on, just had standard ones, and the difference was phenomenal, you know, getting across the screen. So what sort of linear weapons do you think they could bring out then, apart from just speed up? I can't see what else they could be.
Bigger splash, maybe? Hmm. I mean, they could have, lower damage for higher defense. There's all sorts of neat little things they could do. I'm curious to see what they'll come up with.
Yeah,
But
I'm intrigued. I mean, I can't imagine, they can't mess around with reload because that would change too much on the ship. Increasing splash, yeah, that's a possibility. But then again, you'd end up killing things that weren't quite in the same range. No, there's no splash drop up. Hey Ren, how you doing, mate?
Hey, good you?
Yeah, you're right.
Is
You
there
in your
too much
car?
background noise? I'm in the car. Yeah. Is there noise?
No, you're fine, mate. I'll just turn your mic up a little bit more. That's all, mate.
Okay. If there's any noise, I'll mute it. Okay, just let me know.
No, we're good, mate. We're good.
It just sounds like you're in a trash can, but no
Yeah,
extra noise.
you sound like you're Top Cat in but hey, not too worries, mate. Yeah, I don't know. So linear weapons, yeah, they've done the speed thing and they gain nothing outside of it. I mean, it may just be keep it simple, stupid, and just go speed again because I do think these things are. I mean, okay, not the fastest engine, but I got the resistors on, but I've also put Hyper 30 on, and whilst they're okay, you can't outrun those torpedoes. And I thought when they said last week, the idea was, yeah, they will eventually blow up, as I said, if you manage to avoid them for long enough. Well, you have no chance of doing that at the moment in the test time.
Kixeye, if someone from Kixeye could just get a razor tail and trigger one of those torpedoes to fire, and then run it around until it explodes, and then put it on double speed to Benny Hill music. If you guys could do that, that'd be great. Thanks.
Yeah, that'd be good. Hey, Soldex, how are you?
But isn't that their idea, that the torpedoes will eventually explode? I don't think, I mean, the
Yes.
VXP targets, as far as I know, they are tuned.
Yeah, exactly that, Ren. That's what I was trying to say. They did say that the targets were going to be, the torpedoes were basically, if you were quick enough, you would be able to outrun them and they'd run out of steam basically and then just pop.
Yep.
But at the moment, even like I say, with Hyper 30 and with engines on, I can't outrun them. I've tried.
I didn't like the Hyper 30, the extra speed, to be honest, because what I found, the Razor Tail has such a short range that I actually did some good driving against the 50s to get the hang of the target, because I could kill 5, 6 50s easy. And it's good. I mean, I recommend even people who already have their fleets called, if you have weapons and speed specials and whatnot, go drive around some 50s to get the hang of the target. I found it without Hyper 30. I found it hard to stay in range, keep the hunters and the other enemy ships in range, because sometimes I was too fast and I was like getting too far away from them. And so just keeping them in your range circle was not easy. If you go faster, it's even harder.
Yeah.
That was my concern.
Yeah, I mean that's my. I mean, see, I mean, and additionally, obviously, when we get the dedicated, and that's the problem at the moment because the VXP is definitely a combination of two targets, whereas what they said is, you'd have torpedoes in one target and you wouldn't in the other. You'd have submarines, but at the moment we've got submarines in one target that the bat ray can't hit. They can't do anything with him, and then we've got torpedoes in the other one that the blooming razor tail can't escape. So it's a bit messy, to be honest.
Yeah, what I found, and I just put a video out about an hour ago about it, I found that you could nicely go in with minimum health, like just a little bit, and trigger the 3 proto-nemesis and let them come at you, kill the 3 of them, and then suicide killing 2, maybe 1, 2 more ships, then you die.
Yeah.
And I was scoring 44,000 VXP with a Silver Salty. Just doing that. That's how I went from 50% to 75. Cheap.
And how many weapons did you have on each ship, mate?
6.
Okay, so you had to put some weapons on to make it worthwhile. But yeah, okay.
Yeah, I mean, the way I was killing those Protonema, I suppose even with 4, you can do it. As long as you already have some rank. With 4 and 0 rank, it might not be able to kill the Protonem, but 50%, some weapons, they were dying pretty easy, and they don't do much damage. That's the key. You avoid the mortar rain, and then you get close, and you can just kite and kill them easy.
Oh, that's all right. That's not too bad. Yeah, so you don't trigger any of those flipping. I mean, they've turned off the, as we said, they've turned off the. Fortunately, in some respects, for certain holes, they've turned off the torpedoes, because obviously people were using those to VXP. But
bad news for battery owners, great news for razor tail owners.
yeah, which is what I'm saying. It was a combination target, and for some it was like it was heaven because they just like sat in the corner and just waited for the torps to kill, and then the aura kill them off and ranked for nothing basically. And then, as you said, razor tail people were like, I can't even get near a ship. This is ridiculous.
Yep. What's awful.
Yeah, so, but that was the reason why I chucked on the Hyper 30s, because I was trying to outrun these torpedoes and go for what they said was that if you run around for long enough, they'll blow up. But I couldn't even put the Hyper 30s on, and I still couldn't outrun the darn things. So that doesn't bode well for when we see the real targets, unless they slow them down a little bit. I don't know.
So I'm hoping they're seeing that, collecting data, learning, and adjusting the target so the raid is a good experience for both fleets, as they are promising, right? Because either they do a proper job and deliver on their promises that, it's going to be equally enjoyable, equal damage, blah, 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 or it's going to be a disaster, the raid.
Yeah, I mean, it's too early to tell as far as I'm concerned. Like we said, this is an ad hoc target. It's only made to go and get VXP on. They clearly don't want us to do VXP free anymore. You've got to take damage just for the very notion that out there is also for sale VXP tokens, and for sale now is build tokens. So how are they going to sell their tokens if you can go around with your battery and do it for nothing? No one will buy them, or would even want to, those that have the potential.
Now, one thing, if they repeat their behavior from previous months, they said there will be a campaign for us to redeem the hull we don't have, or for people who didn't get any to get one. And I bet, looking at past situations, right, there will be some ship build tokens specific for the ships, the Bat Ray, the Razor Tail, and there will be some VXP tokens. That's what I'm expecting based on past TLCs.
I mean, they'll need. I mean, you other guys think, but they'll need to be, because otherwise we've passed VXP weekend and you'll win a ship, and then you won't be able to rank the damn thing at all.
That's my point. So what I'm saying is, I wouldn't get desperate and buy VXP tokens or coins to get VXP. If you think you have the Manticores and you can do the TLC, I bet there will be VXP tokens in there before the raid.
Yeah, what I'd really like to see personally, and we know that obviously it was a reverse tier this time. The ladder was reversed, so it was hull, then obviously, going up special and weapon sort of stuff. But I'm hoping it'll be like they did before for the Bucky and make it a co-op one, or at least for level 1, so people can get a ship, at least build it with something. Otherwise,
I doubt it's going to be co-op.
Well, then we're going to lock people out, because anybody that didn't get, the Manties, and there's still plenty of players that never did, that's them. That they can't rate, what are they going to be using? And people returning.
Well, but what if, what if Price Pack 1 has like level 60s, like from last raid, which can be perfectly done with Phoenixes and Skyfires? Yeah,
that's what I'm saying. Yeah, so it's not just Manticores. That's my problem. If it's just Manties, to do the TLC is Manticores were a bit buggered.
I agree. What I'm trying to say is, like, the answer is not necessarily make it co-op. It can be also adjust the difficulty properly.
Yeah, I just saw this as a golden opportunity, for the start of a new cycle. It's going to be 3 months potentially now. It's now the first week of each month. It's to almost give everybody the opportunity to say, well, we'll start with a clean sheet, and at least everyone can, can get a hole and make a start now, and let's reset. Because, I've got a few guys now who are doing fairly well, because the Manti cycle was so long that we've managed to get everybody bar a couple, and that's because they don't really get a chance to play very often anymore. But they've all now got a ship to start the next raid set with,
Yeah.
Which is like a reset almost, like, in some respects.
True. No, I agree. I think many players with 5 months were able to finally get a fleet of Manticores, and I saw a lot of people doing things by themselves this past raid, and I think a lot of people redeemed at least one of the hulls. Maybe they weren't able to get 100 million, but 60 million, plenty of people.
Yeah. No, definitely. No, I agree with you. Anyway, yeah, it is interesting. Guys, chip in. What do you think? Solex, let's have some thoughts from you, mate. Whole raid, VXP, target type, difficulty. Now you've seen it. Now you've driven against it. What do you think, mate?
Well, it's a instant kill with the Fangtooths. I
Is that what you've been using?
I tried. Well, no, I didn't test it out with Fangtooths. I wanted to test it out, and so I just did it. And the mortars instantly kills them, just instantly kills them. So it's going to be really tough, especially the next raid. From what I understand, yeah, the proto-nemesis don't hurt that much, except for morts. So if you get close, the depth charges don't do that much damage. I'm curious to know what's the major damage factor in these targets, and what my suspicion is, it's the torpedoes. That's what I think it is, because I've actually tried driving, and the proto-nemesis don't hurt my bat rays that much. But whenever I get into the fleet, I think I don't recall, because they died pretty quickly. But I noticed that I would take the most damage whenever the torpedoes shot and hit me, and they were sinking one at a time. So my thinking is the torpedoes will be major damage
rather than splash damage from the morts. Yeah.
Yes. Because we're going to have.
Yeah, go on. That's why I upped my concussive as much as I could.
Yeah, and so my thinking is, that's why we have such a high defense. They're going to boost the damage on these torpedoes to astronomical, and the major factor will probably be evade. I'm not entirely sure, but that's my hunch.
You think so?
That's from what I understand, because what's really going to damage these holes whenever they have 99% defenses on both concussive and explosive? I mean, that's what's going to be. It's going to be 99.
If I can chip in, I noticed these torpedoes only seem to hit me and literally, like you said, take down a ship, one ship only, like real badly damaged with one torpedo. But only when I left the Reapers or the Hunters get close. So,
yeah.
I don't know. I mean, evade should play a part, unless they set up these torpedoes to have 300% accuracy or something stupid like that.
Yeah, and that's a possibility, isn't it? I mean, the tracking ones that were there at the start of the target, there was impossible. We couldn't escape from those. They were just coming in and coming in. No matter what you did, you had no chance. They were hitting you every single time. But remember, they said they go on.
Sorry, Mark. I didn't catch the name of the person speaking before. Using the fangs. Did you try the fangs in the 50s?
No, I didn't. Do the fangs in the 50s yet? Is the 50 easier?
A lot easier. Yeah, like my razor tails were dying real fast on the hundreds, but the same razor tails could do 6 50s in a row.
Yes. Yeah, about right, mate. Yeah.
So people driving prototype seekers or even fangs, I'm curious to see how these people are faring versus the 50s. That's why I'm asking you. And if you have a chance before Monday, give it a try.
Oh, I'm doing it right now. Let's see how it goes.
Awesome.
Oh, we'll click on his screen. Here we go. Look, we're done. Living out. I mean, there's no change for those ice fields. That's pretty standard as we've seen before. So hopefully those battleships, you shouldn't be able to get seen by them.
Oh no, it's the thermal. They have thermal.
Yeah. You are definitely taking pain already, aren't you?
Oh yeah. Well, these were already damaged from the TLC.
Oh right, okay.
But you can outrange these suckers if you have good enough driving. So it's the thermal that from the Hunters.
Takes forever to kill them, looks like.
Yeah. But if you're a good enough driver, you can kill them. But it's it's all about thermal. Ooh, here's some torpedoes that's going to come and hit me.
Oh yeah, that cost.
I lost a ship from that. Which one was it? It was number 2.
All right, okay.
But
so this is a surface version of almost like the old Hellwraith target, because that was like you had to kite all the time. As soon as they come in, like just inside that aura effect, that was it, wasn't it?
He sees me.
He shouldn't see you,
Sometimes.
should he? So he's got an aura as well. Then that's rubbish. 'Cause
Either that or the
Seen by somebody
Program.
else.
1,000 thermal, probably something ridiculous.
yeah. Yeah,
but-
he's following me.
Yeah, just anyways, it's just I think if people have their fleets partially built, some weapons and speed and resistance special, go try the 50s, and it's a very good driving practice. I mean, do a few over the weekend if you can.
yeah, it is good driving practice. You're right. I'm just wondering if the blooming the three main ships in there have got a crazy thermal range, or whether it's the hunters or something's not quite as I expected. But that's the problem. I'm just thinking, right, so how are they going to do the next tier down? How's tier 6 going to be created? Because tier 6 should be created for people that don't have the latest hulls, so it's designed for either hunters or it's designed for fangtooth. So then if it's designed for those ones, are you going to lock people out using the other ones? Be interesting to see how they're going to do that. Because if
you look at these targets and you forget what they are, the faction, they have a lot of the same mechanics the Scourge targets had last year. They have the mortar rain with fields. They have, the death charges, the ships circling you. Honestly, I think hunters and prototypes, it's very similar. If they could handle that, they can handle this. That's what I'm trying to say.
Yeah. But already had a couple of people try to take the Razor Tides into the SSRB, and they didn't do very well at all. I know a couple of people fully coined the fleet, and it was fully ranked, and it couldn't even do a single target.
What was killing them?
I didn't get to see the battle, mate. I just got a feedback of that didn't go so well. That's what I got. So,
but yeah, you sort of mentioned earlier it might have been the damage type of the Razor Tails.
Yeah, potentially. Yeah.
Yeah, bat rays were doing better because I know people took bat rays in SSRBs and was okay, and half is probably onto something, the damage type. The old targets are not weak against explosives.
Yeah, and the expedition's the same apparently.
Yeah, even the map targets or the TLC targets, people who try to do the Hidden Depth TLC, I think, or whatever, with bat rays did okay. Razor Tails did not because they're explosive, and the old targets are strong against explosive.
Okay. Hey Benji, how you doing?
The only possible explanation. I don't see any other explanation because defense-wise, the characteristics of the ships are all in line.
Yes. Okay. How's your weekend going, Ben?
Good. Yours?
Yeah. Well, I've finished ranking because I just got it out of the way and got it done. I literally just thought, wait, I can't be bothered to mess around too much, so I just put a triple salty on one slot and a grease monkey on another slot, and I just went out and just did it in 5 hits. So took minutes, but and about 40 coins. I just did it, got it out of the way because I just couldn't be bothered. So yeah, got that out of the way and got it done personally. But I've been messing around trying to do base parts still because obviously with the FM there was quite a few turrets and still what I hadn't got and wanted to adjust and all that sort of stuff. So my dog seems to be barking. I'm going to let him out. Talk amongst yourselves for 2 minutes.
Ready?
So repair juggling is going to be real interesting because it's, even with all the reductions, I have an officer and I have R&D 30 and it's still unarmored. These things are 12.5 hours. And when I add the armor, it's only going to be even more. Same as Mantis. So we have to pay millions of raid points and just to properly armor the ships twice, probably. Because one set for the razors and one set for the bat rays if you want to go that route. So got the razors repairing from VXP weekend or bat rays depending. There's still the skirmish TLCs that are still around. And there's the FM where we have 6 million extra points of prizes where maybe one is sort of worth it. And there's a turret that people keep calling the Brian, and I forget the other prize.
Sorry, mate.
Yeah.
It matches your jacket you're wearing.
Huh? No. That's a blanket.
Oh, it's a blanket. All right, okay then. No, well, yeah. I mean, since you started mentioning about that, so aftermath, which is why I call it the Ryan. As simple as that, because you are our math.
No,
minnow.
I'm over math. I'm over the math.
Oh, over math.
with-
Okay. But yeah, so the long range radioactive turret, which like spits out stuff that's not really fast and that sort of stuff. Although it does actually say projectile speed's 300, but we're used to much quicker than that. And you can double it, I know, but it's supposed to do limited amount of damage because it obviously does an awful lot of range. As in the 287, which is the standard thing, isn't it? They're all the same now. It's not very imaginative, is it, though? Every one of the long-range turrets is exactly the same long range. Every one of the medium-range turrets does the same range. Every one of the short-range turrets does exactly the same. It's not very imaginative, is it? It's like...
Well, we were told that by G. Rakin, that we were going to have short, medium, and long range on our turrets a while ago. That was part of this whole plan.
I just
good and bad.
sort of between this and this would be the range, and then between this and this, because it's just like for the attacker, because you can go into a person's base and go, oh yeah, he's got a turret there. So what I'll do is I'm going to go back into mine. Then I'm going to stick my opposing. I don't even have to have that turret. Stick it on the island. Look at the range it's got, and go right. Okay, I'll just keep to there, or I'll do this sort of stuff. It's a bit flexed, for me. There's no ingenuity, or it's less ingenuity, just because the turret range is all the long range ones, whether it be you
can modify them slightly if you would choose to.
You can go plus 10 minus 10, I suppose. Yeah.
But you get crap damage for that. If you do, you're barely breaking. It's hard to break deflection as it is, and that swing from AT to ATR is. It's not nothing.
It matters in some ways, and it doesn't matter in other ways. Like, I have turrets there that I don't really care how much damage they're doing, especially the primary damage type, like the phlogiston launchers. You can set them up just for the shockwave, and that negative 10% damage or whatever is not impacted by that.
It's irrelevant because you want shockwave damage, yeah.
Yeah, and damage over time, not impacted by that. And then, like the cold snap effect, if that's all you're going for to shut down that EMP blast, you can shut them down and not, may not be the point of the turret to do explosive damage. It might be just to get the cold snap effect on them. So, there's different ways to skin a cat, so to speak.
Yeah, no. Okay, yeah. I mean, that's the only reason I've put a cold snap in, is just literally because it covers all my channel, and it hopefully anyway turns off that EMP effect. But yeah, I don't know. Radioactive scope, what are you going to stick that on? Is there anything you'd considering upping radioactive range, but for damage to reduce it?
Well, it's for ships, and so most of their ships are doing minimum damage. So
it's just the only thing I can think is the Vanquisher. That was it.
Well, and the Curator, right?
Oh yeah, that's true. But it's got 8 slots, isn't it? Weapon slots. It's better than obviously a Warden, isn't it? It's got 2 extra slots. So yeah.
Well, the thing is, can it stack with the polonium thrower, the polonium special?
No, I did say I was going to check that on Tuesday, which I forgot to do. But I'm in the game. I can go and look in a second.
Yeah, I was surprised all the stuff that stacks with it, because you can put the CMCR, polonium accelerator, and what's the other one?
So polonium does stack, does it?
Well, I don't know about with the new FM one, but you can get a lot of stacking going on with the radioactive reload. Like 3 specials will stack together, but I have not, as far as radioactive reload, which is more what I was looking at, assuming we're doing minimum damage and trying to build a shockwave.
Yeah, so you just want to get the numbers down as opposed to the damage down. Yeah, got you. I'll just have a quick look at the Conqueror slide because I'm not really sure. It doesn't matter what freaking hell. Let me find a radioactive one. Here we go. If it'll do. See if I can stack these 2 things together. Probably not, but it's there's the polonium. That one there. Right, and let me have a quick look at the other one. Is it blanked out? First of all, we've got to find the darn thing because they don't stack in logical order anymore. There's one there. Nope.
Yeah, it does stack.
It does, yes, it's there. That's interesting. So, yeah. Okay, so that does open up a few options, doesn't it? There it is, bright and shiny and green. So on the Ifrit, we're getting throw range of plus 25%. Radioactive damage, thrower damage. Hang on a minute, let's just have a look. Radioactive reload. So radioactive range plus 9, throw range of 25. So it counts it as two separate things, doesn't it? Just take it off again. Yeah. So it doesn't obviously it doesn't add anything to the thrower range. It only adds it to radioactive range. But that's because obviously polonium is thrower only, isn't it? It's not just radioactive. So they've split it in two halves.
It should affect it though, because whenever back in the Courage, when I used the throwers on the Courage, and the radioactive range of the hull itself, it adds 29% range to radioactive, and that does boost the throwers.
Well, looking at the Ifrit, I mean, maybe I'm using the wrong ship as a baseline, but
Yeah,
basically,
it works because the throwers are radioactive too, so you get both the thrower and the radioactive range stacking.
yeah, because on the Ifrit, it's saying throw range is plus 13 with a blank hole, and then you put obviously the polonium on top of that, you're getting up to 25. But obviously, you put the new radioactive boost on top of that, which should be 9%, but it actually puts it into a separate column. So maybe it does stack. It's just written in a separate column. I have to go and test it.
Well, it's just like the explosive scope and
if you mix throwers and launchers on the same ship, let's say,
yeah,
the launchers would only benefit from the radioactive extension, and the throwers benefit from both.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I just thought the throw range would be, increased. But yeah, I see what you're saying though. So it's 25% from thrower, and then you get a following 9% from radioactive. Is that what you're saying? Because it's in two separate columns now on the Ifrit. I wonder if I change it to a...
Yeah, it's 25 plus 9, so 34 is the total range extension.
So 34 on top of... What?
88.
88, yeah. What is that for the... So it's 13%, wasn't it, for that hole? I take it you're at home now, Ren.
It's going to get you to 118. Like every one of these extension specials for missiles, for explosive, they've consistently taken your range from 110 to 118. That's what it's doing.
Mm-hmm. But there's some defender holes that actually have...
I was looking at Omni, Emoth, and that's... Yeah. And
the Courage is actually now the longest thrower range now because of that.
What was the Vanquisher? Vanquisher had a boost, didn't it, as well? But I'm just trying to look.
Did. I think it's that retrofit, the higher retrofits. I'm not.
Well, that was just 10% though. It was just radioactive range of 10%. That's what it was. But yeah, you're right.
But the Courage is still at the top.
Yeah.
But I mean, it's an old hole, so it's kind of pointless.
Yeah.
You could use that as spotter or something like that, but other than that, I don't know.
Yeah, radioactive range when that was 20, wasn't it? Anyway, so I was thinking, you're talking about FM prizes and that sort of stuff. We'll cut away from that. The other thing was that plate armor that came out, plate 1, wasn't it? Is it XR? Explosive radioactive?
Yeah.
I'd like to see that in like tier 4, tier 3, and then see XR2, personally. It sounds like an old Ford in the UK, but there's nothing that XR plate 1 is not really going to make much difference, I don't think, to be honest.
A little bit.
Radioactive.
Yeah, it is a little bit, and it's like having two weapons on, as we spoke about on Tuesday night, but
it'll do a little bit, but not much yet.
It's not enough. And if you take other things off and put that on to make it almost worthwhile, then you're weak again in other areas. I've looked at Witch Doctors, and I've looked at Ifrits, and I've looked at, well, nearly all the holes, to be honest. It still doesn't bring anything back into play massively.
No, it's just a little bit of a boost just to help, but you still got to keep your mixed Frankenstein ships together right now because there's no way you're going to get through anything because
No.
it's so low.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. I was hoping that number 2 would come out at the same time, but you know, one in one tier and one in another tier sort of stuff. But it just didn't happen. So unless it comes out in bounty, I don't know. We'll see. But it's just a stocking filler at the moment, as far as I can see. It doesn't really help you at all, because there's not enough to. It's not worth putting it on just to take something else off, just to lower your levels in something else instead. Or from what the quick looks at the builds that I've got, I don't see it's going to change anything in PvP, to be honest. But hey, hey Highland, how are you?
Good, guys. Just jumped in, just got back home, so just wanted to come in here and see what you guys were doing and get some new information.
Yeah, we're just literally. It's not obviously a huge weekend. VXP weekend's never overly exciting, to be honest. You know, the FM stuff is a little bit more interesting because, you know, we're getting the third of the radioactive turrets, you know, which came out in there. Obviously, you're going to get one each time, but hey ho, it's not the end of the world. It's not exactly a massive, powerful one.
Yeah. Hey, how did people do with the razors? Because I just had like basic holes, and I put a couple like specials on mine, and I had like maybe 2 rockets. But man, that 100 fleet, it wasn't doing nothing. But I heard the bats did pretty well. How's everybody? What do you think? Did anybody do a whole fleet of razors? Like, is it doing damage to this thing?
No.
Yeah, me and no. They're not fully built by any means, but I've got like 20 rockets spread across the fleet. I don't have the damage special on, but those things are tough.
Yeah, they're super tough, man. I thought I'd scratch a couple, and I was like, holy crap. Maybe this is the bat ray target is what I'm thinking, and we're not seeing the razor target. That's what I'm hoping for.
No, it's a hybrid target. I mean, they took out the torpedoes now, but when they had the torpedoes in there from the bat ray target, and then obviously they've got the subs and all the other bits in there as well. You know, so it's just it's a target to go and annihilate your ships, basically. That's the whole idea.
Yeah,
I mean, unfortunately, that's the way VXPing is now. You know, and I sort of said to Ren earlier on, and some of the TFC guys, you know, building a hull skillfully and being a skillful driver has not been rewarded, and Ren was worked it out probably since the start of 2017.
Yeah, it's been a while. Yeah, it's just a big mix of a combo of everything. There's no differential between the two right now.
Yeah, and I don't know when it was. I mean, somebody can remember it, but you know, the last. When did you say it was the last flipping siege one when we had the?
First quarter of 2017, people with cannoneers could actually do top targets for
That's
no
right.
damage if you drove
Driven well.
perfectly.
Yeah,
Yeah.
driven well. You could kite around that big, massive gun in the middle and arrest
Yep.
them if you. Yeah, that was right.
Time
And since
everything
then,
right and get them when they were surfacing. Like that puzzle was amazing to break. Like those top targets with cannoneers was an amazing and very rewarding puzzle to break.
Yeah.
I also suggest that the Fangtooth was another skill hole that you could do
Definitely.
for instant repair.
Yeah,
After
the
that,
Fang was
adds
good.
some
I think with the Fang you could actually keep raiding for like a very long time if you didn't make mistakes.
But if you did make mistakes, and they cost a lot.
Yeah, but
Yeah.
that's same with cannoneers. That was the whole premise of like you can like high risk, high reward.
that was the idea of skill, wasn't it? You know, and that would go back to the Hellwraith. Go back to, you know, there are many ships like that you think to yourself, do you know what? If I drive this well, you know, and I always used to like subs and that sort of stuff because, you know, if you were a good driver, you had a good connection speed and you could kite well and that sort of stuff, you know, and you built them correctly, you know, and you put on like a, you know, like the Fangtooth, you put on a battery and that sort of stuff to knock out the fire fields, and you do unusual things, increase the, you know, the sonar range on another one. And, you know, if you built it so that it's not just 5 ships all identical, but you actually thought about what you're building, you can actually then, you know, see the target properly, you know, utilize the target properly, you know, just through skillful building, and then go and drive as well skillfully. And you know, all those combination effects should have been rewarded, but that's not going to happen now. Definitely not. You know, it's guaranteed damage and guaranteed, you know, repair time now, no matter what you're going to do. But that's how I see it.
Yeah, which I think removes a lot of strategy from the game. I think we talked about this last week.
Yeah.
With the introduction of the auto hulls, they had to do something. I don't know. It becomes less rewarding, I think. for people that want to drive well or build well.
I get the whole thing because obviously they're going onto the BP app and that sort of stuff. I just find them distasteful. I find them not in flavor with the game personally. You know, blitzing, yes, I understand that because but pure auto holes, making a game now fixed around autoing, I don't like it personally. But hey, and it's there, the using the app and that sort of stuff, and they're trying to encourage their method, which is the app and not people using other third-party sort of apps and that sort of stuff on mobile phones. So they're definitely gone down an avenue that's not a basic look at the interface and just put it in a smaller version. It's definitely a standalone mimic of many other things we've seen before.
Hey Brian, I got a question for you. Sorry to cut off. You did the razors as well. How many hits did you have to do? I think I had 12 skirmish tokens from like last year and some the 6K VXP tokens. So I threw one of those on each. I built 5 myself because I'm thinking about the tank for the first raid, and I think I had to do like 5 hits. What about you? With a lot more stuff on it is my question.
I've only ever done 2 because they're just slow repair because I can't be bothered.
Okay, yeah, I had a grease monkey in the dock and a triple on the crew. So, and I just did it, and then I repaired it real quick, and then I just got it done. I was like, I'm done.
Were you coining full repair on them?
Yeah,
I did.
But
yeah,
it
That's
was
a
like
bit of a waste of money. I'm sorry.
no, with the grease monkey, it was like what, like 8 coins or something, or 12 coins. It was like next to it was like less than like 10 coins. It was nothing for 5. I was like, this is nothing. I'm $1 and I'm done in like a half an hour.
Yeah, I did the same. I have to say, I literally, as I just said, 40 coins and I was done. And I was like, I've been out today. I've done other stuff and that stuff. I'm not sitting here doing target after target. That's just me.
That's my opinion too. I agree with you.
Yeah, I had a triple in one. Okay, Ren's got to go. Cheers, mate. I had a triple in one and a grease monkey in the other, and I just went and did it 5 cycles and it was finished. And it was about 40 coin for the whole thing, and I was like, that'll do. It's 40 coin. Yeah, you can do it slow, and you can probably do it for free. Other people doing different methods. But the second I saw those freaking torpedoes in there, on the start, I was like, that sod this.
Yeah, I saw those too, man. I was like, at first I took a vet in there because nobody was hitting them. Yeah, right when it started, I was like, I want to see what it looks like. So I took a vet in there, and I left it all the way in the corner. And I'm like, holy shit, the thing just disappeared. And the ships are way off in the distance. And I'm like, oh, man, there's got to be subs around or something. But I couldn't tell yet. And then when I went back in with the fleet, then I saw the torpedoes coming at me. And I'm like, oh, my God.
It's my own fault. I looked at how many grease monkeys. I looked at the damage available. I looked at the time. I went, do you know what? This coin is time. It's all it is, isn't it? It's just time. And I'm not sitting here for hours doing it. I just can't be bothered. So I just got it out of the way. So,
Yep.
I just wasn't interested in sitting there for hours on end, just trying to kite round targets and that sort of stuff. I don't mind doing a raid; it's a whole different process. But just to get some rank, and I looked at the VXP tokens to buy as well, and I thought to myself, it's just as easy to go in there with the crew and just freaking blat it out.
Yeah,
it's far more cost effective, in fact.
Yeah.
In fact, Brian's mentioned that before. Brian's mentioned that before about using crews and just getting it done as opposed to that and going and buying the VXP tokens, because the VXP tokens seem to be a lot more expensive.
Yeah, their deals seem to be way off. I mean, these prices they come up with, it's like, if you made it reasonable, a lot more people would do it. But you guys got these far-fetched ideas on what you think something's worth, and it's like completely fucking off.
Well, they've had 10 VXP for coin since the game started. They've never bothered to update that base price. And when you have 75,000, 96,000, 120-something thousand for sculling a single ship, then yeah, that's off. Back in the day, it was, a couple thousand maybe to get it to star, and then you were done. But they didn't bother to update that, so they can really claim that, oh yeah, it's 99% off. If something is 99% off, that means you suck at pricing it. It just hasn't been updated. So they do that because they know full well that there's no way that the base price is what anyone pays anymore.
Right.
But at the same time, still get to claim it, and people will think it's a deal, but those people have no concept of a deal because they just don't know. All they see is a token in front of them. They don't know it's 10 VXP for a coin if you do it the stupid way.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, there's my example, right? So looking at here, okay, there's a razor tail VXP token here, right? So it's 4 tokens at 37,000 VXP each, but it's 23 quid. 23 quid. You know, 23 pounds things. That's 25, 26, or $30, whatever it is.
Yeah.
So that's basically, you know, that's what.
That's crazy.
$400.
$10, 100 coins and a couple crews, and you just rank that thing, and you're good. Why would you spend 20, 30 bucks and not even get it full ranked?
I mean, I did it for a tenth less, basically, that for 1/10, because I did it for less than 50 coins, which is about £3.
Right. Same here.
Yeah. Okay, I use a crew, but you know, that's just nuts.
The one that they haven't updated either is the cost of basic resources, which have increased massively, but they've kept the same per unit cost, and that's why it costs you several $1,000s to put walls up.
Don't mention the new OP that's coming. Yeah, I know.
More walls.
I hope they don't upgrade the walls. I really do. I'd rather just let them be paper.
I haven't
coming.
upgraded
It's
my walls
coming.
today. I can't be bothered. I don't care.
It'll just be
The
painful.
splash thing is broken, and the stuff that people use just goes straight over the walls. What purpose do they serve anymore?
I do walls last when I got nothing to do and my warehouses are stacked and I just want to burn some resources. I don't worry about walls either. But after like not doing anything forever, I finally start doing a couple at a time just to drop resources.
I don't even do it then. It's so hard. Like I move them all to the place that I want and I'm set. I don't want to click on get a magnifying glass to zoom in and
I know. Yeah.
Like 2 pixels by 2 pixels, click that one, not the other one. That one and upgrade it. That is so bad. They really need to give you can only upgrade a row or column if you have the coin for it.
But even that's ridiculous. I mean, if it was like from 0 to 9 for 1 coin, people would do it. But they want like 50 coins to go up like 1 level. Get the hell out of here.
But that's not even that. Like they need to do that without the coin cost if you have the resources. You need to be able to select 50 walls, and if you right then have the resources in your warehouse to up all 50 of those walls by a level, you should be able to do it. It'll take 50 walls is 200 seconds, and you 5-minute speed up and you're done. So yeah, more for the low hanging fruit, which is not this show, but there you go.
Yeah, I know what you're saying. Yeah, it's terrible. So the other question I was going to ask, I mean, it's been there for a little bit now, and that's obviously Skirmish battery. I'm trying to work out why. I've seen people putting it obviously clearly with the Gatling guns, and they're sticking it on the bat razor. I'm not quite sure why people are putting it on razor tails.
No, I'm not sure why people are putting it on bat rays. Strike warheads. Strike warheads.
Is it a special damage reduction they're thinking of?
I don't think it's really for this fleet.
I mean, if you have Hyper 30, if you have Hyper 30, I don't see why you'd ever use Skirmish battery. That's the only good reason. The Strike Warheads is in tier 2 of the FM, and it's way more concussive damage. I'll look right now to see what the Forsaken Researchable Tech specials do, because I think those are better for damage than the Skirmish battery. And it's not like how we had with the scatters and the missiles from the last raid, where it did a little bit of pen and a little bit of corrosive, so you were getting the bonus twice.
Yeah.
It's just all one type. And that was one of the things I was wondering when I saw that, but it's just one damage type. So we'll see here.
Well, I actually, I gave one of my guys, because I helped a bunch of people in the raid and stuff, and he didn't even have fangs yet. And he was missing some pieces, so I'm like, get that Skirmish battery and put it on your fangs, because he was missing some stuff. So I'm like, try to use that and fit it in. That's how far behind he is, but I'm like, maybe that, I don't think it's for the new stuff. I just think it's just a miscellaneous item that came in, and then you can use it if you can use it.
It's a bit like the hydraulic resistor, the explosive one. I'm still not 100% convinced that it's for this raid. when
I don't think so
early
either.
on, and Solex just tested it there, I still think most of the damage is coming concussive and not coming from explosive, which you can hopefully mitigate through, knocking down. Although I don't think, as it stands at the moment, that I think Gale 3s, there may be something to replace those, maybe, or because they don't seem to be as accurate as what I was hoping they were going to be. I don't know. We've had MSVs, the missile defense systems now. So unless those are just the new versions of Gales, I don't know. But because we haven't had anything on that side for a long, long time. But I don't know if all the explosive is coming from the the incoming projectiles as opposed to not splash damage and that sort of stuff. Then from ice drops.
Tier 2 tech, the Tier 2 Forsaken Researchable Concussive Damage, what's it? Is 27% at R15. So if you have Hyper 30 or even Hyper 20 and you want the evade and the speed, there's no reason to put the Skirmish battery on.
No.
And the cloak time, even last year's stuff.
Yeah, what's that all about? I don't quite get the cloak time. So the cloak crime threw me. I don't quite understand. It's an odd special. As I said when I first saw it, I was like, I don't quite understand where this is being designed for.
Now that we know that there's no subs in this raid cycle, like, what? Why? And as we just saw, there's no reason to have subs in anywhere near the top targets. They'll get melted.
And the problem is with it as well, because it's got dive time, and that sort of stuff in there. You can't then stack it with other ones that have got dive time. It doesn't work as well. So there's only so many slots you can have up, if you know what I mean.
Proto Hellwraith.
you go to double
there.
hell.
Proto Kudas.
Yeah.
People might like those. Proto Hellwraiths can go to double hell.
I want Proto Preds.
Yeah.
And then we can have a Proto Pred shootout, like we had the gunboat shootout.
Well, So Brian, you were saying something about using the strike warheads, right?
On bat rays.
Yeah.
On
the
bat rays.
concussive and pen damage.
Yes, that's actually not. I mean, it's a good idea. It's better than just having the skirmish battery. But we do have the concussive payload 2, which does 75% damage. That can stack with the skirmish battery as well. And so you get.
Oh wow.
Yeah, you get added 0.5% damage. So you're getting a total of
how much you getting then?
Yeah, I stopped paying attention to.
Yeah, 350% damage on the hull itself.
I didn't pay attention to P-TEDs. Yeah, that looks about right. I should scrap them. I should get my concussive resistors back. But yeah, thanks. I'm not using them. I got this new sweet battery coming eventually.
So you're getting the Hyper 30. So you're getting the splash damage reduction on the Hyper 30, and as well as the skirmish battery. So that's what is it, 60? No, it's that's 55% right now. And so it is kind of a waste. It's not that as much, but the payload 2 does not stack with the strike warheads. But it does stack with the skirmish battery.
That's something I never even got. No, I got the.
It was for the proto Tide Seeker.
Yeah, it's for the Tide Seeker.
That's what the payload 2.
It may be near the top, and I should be able to just find it.
No, it's about the 5th row down, mate. It's quite close to. In fact, it's on the same row, isn't it? Well, for me anyway, it's frontline countermeasure.
Well, if you didn't do the tides and get that free one, you might not have it because you probably just bypassed and said, "I don't need that crap. I'm not building protos."
That's true. You might have done.
Yeah.
I'm not seeing it in that row, but this is, this is not the best live show. Oh, there it is below it. Oh yeah, I got it. Okay. Yeah. Wow, that's heavy. But if you can afford the weight, yeah.
So yeah, I did post up a build with payload 2, Hyper 30, hydraulic resistors, skirmish battery, and then obviously alloy armor CTX3, and I still can't make up my mind what to put in that final slot.
Now I've heard a lot of people putting this shielded circuitry or I don't think it's necessary because you could easily bypass the ice fields and that stuff on the battery. On the battery you can do that.
On the battery specifically, yeah.
Yeah.
Now, I'm not sure if it actually works against the ice fields because there's some people that say it doesn't work because it still slows you down on the razor tails.
Yeah, so I was
I'm
thinking
not
about
sure if
out
that's
driving it and
true or
doing
not.
countermeasure load of four instead. So it gives you up a bit more reload and obviously it increases the range and accuracy of your counters. So they may actually work a bit better.
That's what I
Well,
did.
the
I did
reload
the
of
circuitry.
It's just it's more the reload of your countermeasures. I'm thinking,
Well, yeah, you get for the razor. I put it on my razors. I got the counter 4 on there, and I got it. You get a little 25 reload on the rockets, and then you get for the gales. So the gales, you're getting the extended range and the more reload. So that's why I put it on there.
Well, and accuracy, you're getting 35% accuracy and you're getting 20% reload. So countermeasure range obviously goes up. What does it go up by?
65% or so.
60 odd percent, isn't it? Yeah, 62%, isn't it? That's right. Yeah. So I mean that's considerable. So yeah, that would help. So yeah, I think there was a post. I can't remember. Somebody posted it, but I know I put one up anyway. But yeah, the advanced concussive payload, mixing that up with the skirmish battery because they do stack, which was quite nice.
Are y'all putting the hydro explosive casing on it, or on the batteries? Because I thought it was a useless special, just like the Nexus special, the mass augmented Nexus.
Oh yeah.
The hydro. Oh, the crit one.
Yeah, the crit one. I thought it was just like the Nexus, and it was worthless.
This actually does boost your critical damage. Okay, so that's what I was trying to figure out. And if you give me like 10 minutes, I might be able to. So it's 325 damage, and your reload's down. Oh wow, it's 0.5 already. Gee, that's okay.
Oh, the hydro explosive casing. That's the new one that you had to get with it, didn't it? Yeah, that's right.
Yeah, I'll just mute myself and mutter a bunch, and then shout when I have an answer. I feel like the new special should deal more damage because of the crits, but I'll be right back on that.
Yeah, and when we're talking about that, because people were talking about obviously the difference between using the specials. I mean, and things like shielded circuitry as opposed to TAC, But obviously, there's a difference between obviously slow TAC field resistance is semi-important. Well, it is important, and tactical insulator, which is the best one because it's got 50% and some evade as well. Although weight-wise, which is 16, as opposed to when you're putting on things like shielded TAC circuitry, which is only 47%, which is not horrendous, but then that one also stacks with other things, and the other one doesn't. So it's a catch-22. And obviously, if you've got the limited one, which is shielded circuitry at the background there, then that has got slow resistance, but only TAC field of 40. So it depends, doesn't it? Whichever you want to go. Some of them stack, some of them don't. Is the ice field your biggest concern because you're doing auto? If you're driving, you can avoid most of that probably by driving around things, especially if you're going to use countermeasure load of 4 because you're likely to knock out more of the ice fields. So there's a few choices still to decide. Which is very difficult
now that's
to say.
Interesting.
Yeah, go on. Sorry.
I noticed that if you add the hyper installation, you can't add any evade special, such as or Guidance Scrambler. I did not know that.
No, you can't. Even Guidance Scrambler. Yeah, which is odd, isn't it?
Oh wow, ion thrusters to do that. Oh, and it's splash damage to do. Ooh. Do you want to do donuts? Because that will do donuts for you. I love me some ion thrusters.
Well, it'd be quite handy for getting rid of getting out of the way of ice fields because you can just literally turn on a dime, couldn't you?
Are we going to assume here that plus percentage of critical chance, like plus 25% plus the 12 from R&D is 37%?
I never trust that because then that's like saying just it's a 20% chance of rolling this crew. Well, if I didn't get it this time, then I've got a better chance of getting it, which that's not the case.
Oh, that's gambler's fallacy. No, I just mean the stats on the hydro explosive casing.
Oh, right. Okay.
Yeah, except for there's been some testing, Brian.
Oh, great.
Venom. I mean, it's been around for a while. Venom. Even though you're not here, the plus 100 actually means a plus at this point. So it's not the original number. That's what you're getting at, right, Brian?
I meant the chance because I had assumed. Okay, so
Well,
when I see
plus 125 means plus 125. So you go from
100 to 225.
Yeah.
That's what okay, that actually works now. I'll do the numbers with and without just in case. Because look, I've been burned enough by this crap, okay?
Burned, yeah. Go on, Venom, you've done some testing.
Testing on what?
Critical hit. It if it says plus 100, you go from doubling your damage to what? You're normally adding critical hit doubles the damage. And if it says plus 100, what are you doing at that point?
Typically, when it said plus 100, it's tended to be just double. So you've got things like the turret specials, the EM rails. They're, I think it's number 1 is plus 100. That's just double. Then the 200 was triple, and then so on. But any new specials, you have to go test it because it's the inconsistency in the game, especially around specials. You just can't trust it.
Yeah.
So it could be that it's double. It could be triple. At this point, who knows? You just have to test it. I can't say definitively if it is one or the other.
Okay, but the calculator that
with
you
the
first
turret
put together.
With the turret calculator, it was pretty simple. We figured out that it was 100 was times 2, and 200 was times 3.
Yeah.
That was easy enough to figure out because you're just taking a large damage percentage and just checking what your damage was on the ship. It really was that simple. But when you're talking chain guns and rockets, it's much harder to calculate because you're looking at much smaller damages, and you're looking at instead of going flat damage, you're doing resistance values. So checking things like that is just really quite annoying and takes a lot more time. But
I mean, this is really the dilemma of last time about using the PBX, because people are like, well, it says critical chance, but is that still better than just doing raw damage? Because at least raw damage happens all the time, constantly, as opposed to going, well, it might do crit damage this time or it might not. And then we go next cycle, right? Is it going to do crit damage this time or not? And that's the problem we're saying with Fangtooth. If you're putting things on there, you rather just have raw damage when you know that when your torpedo fires, it just hurts, at a set amount of damage, which is constant all the time. That's the only thing with things like the PBXs and that sort of stuff is, yeah, it's great to do crit damage so long as it is doing the crit damage.
So the highest, the most generous calculation that I could do, and I only put one Gatling gun on. I don't know how to account for the increased damage. But then again, neither do the game designers. So I don't care. Hey, they had a stream where they were asked that and they weren't sure. So every instance that I could find, it looks like even if the crit damage is 225% and the crit chances you're 25 plus your 12% from R&D, 37%, even if that, the reload on the ACP2 is going to give you a better DPS. And again, I don't want to calculate out how it goes over. Like if you have the max damage, is it 36,000? And what if that crits? No, I don't want it. No. So ACP better. Yay. Take that new special. Crit-based new special. Another one. Come on, guys.
Okay, so you're content that you're not going to put it on your bat rays?
Not anymore.
Yeah,
That's why I didn't get the special at all. I didn't want to waste I mean, PBX does pretty much the same thing, except for maybe 25% less. Woo.
I mean, you can put both on. They both fit. If I have a spare slot, great. But if I've only got the one slot, it's just ACP2. if I can fit the weapon weight on, because weight's been an issue for some of these holes sometimes.
Yeah, I just like to know what damage I'm doing constantly, because then you can. I don't know. Crit hits are great. It's a bit like doing crit hits with flipping, like on Buccaneers and that sort of stuff. It's nice to have raw damage. I always went for maximum building damage, for example, on my sieges, as opposed to going for maximum amount of critical hit, which is great. But at least if I'm going to hit it hard first volley, I've got more chance of knocking through the walls than a potential chance of knocking through the walls. So anyway, we'll see. Right. We're at sort of like, what are we at now? 20 past. Right. Okay. I'm not going to give Brian 5 minutes because it ends up being 30. But Benji, anything else you want to cover, mate, before we knock it on the head tonight?
No, sorry, I haven't been with it much.
That's okay, mate.
I just hope everyone gets their stuff ranked and has fun in the game.
Yeah, cool, mate. All right then. Hefe, anything we haven't covered that you want to just quickly talk about? If our Lord just wants to mute himself a second.
Okay.
All right, vaping, but there we go.
I might have been taking the puppy out to take a leak in the yard.
No, I think I'm good.
Okay,
there's nothing new. There's nothing really new. It's just I just wanted to see what your ideas on certain things, like the razors.
Okay.
Did we ever discuss the new PvP armor?
Yeah, I did mildly. I just said basically it's not enough. I would like to see in tier 3 that one, and then actually the level 2 in tier 5. Because at the end of the day, even if you obviously if you're going to put it on, it means you're going to lose something else, which means you've got to change your weapons, and actually your stats don't really increase a great deal. It hasn't made any huge impact on PvP as far as I'm concerned. Looking at the adjustments I looked on my ships, I don't think it made any difference.
Did you find it odd that it was? Go ahead, Venom.
It is enough, just about. In theory, yes, you can stop it using specific things, but currently, in most bases, if the fleet's set up right, it'll just walk in. Like it's gone heavily the other way again, where your base is probably going to be flattened.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and the other question, I mean, that was one of the questions, and the secondary question associated with that is like, was everybody surprised that it was radioactive and explosive when we sort of got this idea that we would have the old damage types and the new damage types, and now they've mixed the old and the new, so we have no idea what the next armor is going to be.
Yeah, because I was expecting concussive with corrosive.
Yeah,
and we've got.
Well, that's what it's going to be.
I mean, that's what's left, but we've still got level 2 and level 3 of this armor. Then we've got all the levels of the other armor. Like, when is this going to be done? When is tier 8?
And is refactoring going to mess it all up anyway? Because they're going to go back to something else. So I don't know.
Well, we'll have so when's tier 8? I mean, see, that's the other part of it is we don't know when this.
Well, it's going to be delayed, isn't it? Surely. You can't go bring it in tier 8 now when they haven't even, and a new OP, well, they haven't even sorted and fixed out the problems of tier 7. Because if you just charge it in, what do? You just ignore everything in tier 7 and go, thanks very much, everybody. You've built all these holes, you spent all this money. Do you know what? Let's just start with a new armor type and a new defensive stats for tier 8, and everything else we're just going to put some marker on it and say it can't do it.
And everything's going to have 3 billion deflection, and the next level.
Or maybe they just get rid of deflection together and over damage and go back to something else. I don't know.
Yeah.
We don't know. They haven't even hinted how they're doing it, so we don't know where it's going. But otherwise, numbers are just going to climb through the roof, and you're going to have a building black stock with so many zeros. It's like you just won freaking the jackpot at a casino in Vegas.
Yeah.
I honestly have no idea how on earth they managed to mess up deflection so badly when it's such a simple statistic. It is really not that hard to make deflections work, but they've failed epically, and it's unbelievable how they've done it. It's not that hard.
But they can just turn around and say, "No, it's not our current team. We didn't bring it in. We're just finishing it off." So
if they stop getting rid of them, and just let them fix the issues, It would be better off than replacing them every time there's a slight problem, and then we end up in bigger hole.
They turn over GDs faster than we can build fleets.
Oh yeah, that doesn't surprise me at all. Rainer's just saying in chat there, we're going to get everything next week, so we can have more content overload. And then OP come out the next XOP tier 8 stuff can come out the week after, so we can really build it all again.
And
Level 11
everybody
club,
keeps,
who cares?
yes,
Oh,
but everybody
no.
keeps on saying that most of the money is generated through PvP, but it appears to be the most neglected part of the game. And so if it really was their real moneymaker, we keep on hearing it and it makes sense, but why do they neglect that part of the game the most, it appears? That's, you know, it appears to be the most, you know, because sometimes it's shut down for 3 months or, you know, and then it works for a week and then it's gone again. It's
ego.
It's not so much that they're neglecting it, it's more the fact that they don't understand how to do it, nor can they use a calculator. You know, you need to get one of those calculators with the giant buttons and giant numbers so they can see them.
Okay, let's be slightly fair. Okay, knowing some math is great. Knowing how to fix a computer program and then backtrack it so that everything works is probably a little bit more technical than just knowing the numbers.
Yes,
how you implement the numbers is something else.
Things working, that's one thing. The code's complicated, but putting numbers that are realistic, that work, is not a difficult thing to do if you can use a calculator at any degree. It's not difficult. Going from 300k deflections to 1.6 million, having turrets that do ridiculous amount of damage, that was clearly going to be a problem. It doesn't take much foresight to see that's going to be an issue.
You're talking about logic, though. They don't have logic. So all this stuff right now is like, it doesn't matter. Until they do it, it won't matter. So, I mean, we can come up with a bunch of different theories, but are they going to listen?
Look, I mean, for me, I mean, and this could be another hour. We're not going to do it, but basically, there are other factors as well. I mean, there are some things that are broken in PvP still that haven't been until probably Bounty 12, where fire support is not doing what it should. I can tell you that now for a fact. There are turrets out there that in certain people's bases that are the deflection, we can overload them easily and beat the turrets, you know, at their base power, even with full fire support, but they're still two-shot in people's holes. The correlation between what you permissible and what's actually happening in the game is screwed up in some people's bases, and I've been sent some stuff a couple of times now where it's absolutely shouldn't be happening, but it is happening. So there are still some glitchy issues out there in the game at the moment, and even with MC Plate 3 and all that sort of stuff, there are still certain combinations of island builds that basically are just annihilating everything, witch doctors and all the ships, all 6 damage, you know, protection types as well. So there are a few things going on that still need fixing, let alone things that need replacing, which is a complete overload system and deflection system and that sort of stuff, which is just getting exponentially crazy and it's going out of hand, you know.
To be fair on that damage one, where it is doing damage that it shouldn't, that is an incredibly difficult one to figure out where that's coming from.
It is.
I've seen it myself. It's happened specifically in my base, and you can't replicate it.
Yeah, no, I had it in my base and I didn't know how I created it. Like, so if you can't work out how you've done it, but I know there is a couple of alliances out there that definitely do know how to do it because all their bases are starting to look the same.
Hey, I got a question. Is this near your ops by any chance?
Say again?
Do you have? Is this near your ops by any chance? Well, all this fire's coming from? Is it near your ops? Well, do you have the overdrive on it? And it's shooting out 200 salvos?
It's a combination. Yeah, it is a combination. It's island based and that sort of stuff. So, you know, it's, you know, and I've been sort of like waiting for a period of time where I've got enough tokens so I can just keep taking things off and putting them on, taking them off and putting them on sort of stuff and try and work out exactly what it is. But there is something out there that's definitely causing for a couple of damage types, some crazy over the top, which breaks all the calculators. So, but yeah. Anyway, right. Is anybody else they want to talk about quickly? Because I'm going to close this one off. So, Lex, you got anything? If he's still there.
Nah, I got nothing else.
Cool. Excellent. Okay. And Brian, you can have the last 5 seconds.
Yeah.
You good?
I want it.
Okay, cool. God, I got away with that one. Right, 1 hour and a half. Right, thanks very much for tuning in. Okay, and like I said, it's probably a bit more sort of like math orientated, that one. But then again, it's VXP weekend, and we're not charged around chasing down targets. We're just hitting one thing over and over again. As we said right at the start, the VXP target is not retrospective, sort of like this is what the 80 is going to look like and that sort of stuff. It's a made up target, a mash basically. So it can just annihilate both fleet types. It's as simple as that. So early on they had the torpedoes, and obviously they took them out because obviously they didn't realize that the torpedoes were actually giving out VXP, so they got rid of them. So you can't get your cake and eat it, i.e. you can't do them for nothing. So but you can go out and build and buy build tokens, VXP tokens, if you really want to. Personally, I wouldn't. But that's just me. I'd rather just literally use a couple of crews and just get it over and done with. In fact, it'd be cheaper if you just didn't use any crews and coin it probably than buying those VXP tokens. But I just think they're very, very expensive for what they are. But some people will buy them because they keep sort of selling them. So somebody must be doing it. Anyway, right. Get this week out of the way. And, what are we on to next? What's on next week? Oh, it's Bounty, isn't it? Bounty's coming. It's Bounty 14. I wonder if it's going to be as interesting as Bounty 13, which was definitely broken. We'll have more turrets, won't we? Because obviously we had some more turrets in. The throwers should be in there, shouldn't they, this time? And will they have base ships in? I don't know. I doubt it. We'll see. And let's see what new toys are coming. We saw the art department kick out some stuff, and there was a new base defender hull.
Yeah,
So,
it looked like a Vanquisher, right?
Yeah, that new funny looking Vanquisher thing, mate, wasn't it? So a new countermeasure was in there as well, and a new CIC type thing, wasn't it, as well? So
yeah, it was dialectic, which it's basically I think,
diuretic or something, wasn't it?
Yeah, which basically means it deals with corrosion.
Ah, so that's the end of Witch Doctors then, is it? So nothing's going to work again. We'll see. We'll see. Anyway, yeah, it's all coming around fast. So, yeah, enjoy that. We'll see what happens on the update, which should be on time because there's no overlap. So hopefully we'll have the show Tuesday night, and we'll chat about what's going to happen. But apart from that, I'll just say goodnight, and thanks to those guys for coming on the live show, and thanks for everybody in chat. Take care.
Night, everybody.
Yeah, see ya.